someone shy until I seen your eyes. Still I had to try, yeah. Oh yes, let me get my words right and then approach you. Woman, I'll treat you like a man is supposed to. You'll never have to cry, no. I know everyone can relate to when they find a special someone. And she's royal, yeah, so royal. And I want her in my life. No word of a lie.
Yes, indeed, of course, I'm going to recognize all and sundry. You're probably wondering whether it's the moment or the effort or the significant what I consider to be pressure, sacrifices that were made to get the PNM to call an early election. Late as it is, in the context of early, but the fact of the matter is that they have called an early election. We were predicting this all the time on the corridor transformation, on the ground report, and wherever we had a chance to do. You'll forgive, of course, my tardiness with respect, of course, to for the first time for me, you see a lot of fear on my face. But that is because of the tight schedule that I have. And so it will be very difficult for me to, of course, even go by the barber or take, of course, a groom, so to speak. But that being as it may, the fact of the matter is that we are here this Saturday, of course, the 19th. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, what a glorious day. Oh, what a glorious progression to, of course, the 28th. When, of course, all our burdens will be rested and we can afford to sleep comfortably, knowing fully well that the UNC and, of course, the coalition of interests firmly in charge of the affairs of Trinidad and Tobago, simply because you made the decision and you always had that choice. It was only the PNM that tried, of course, the leadership of the PNM is so greedy for power that they would want to tell you or make you believe that somehow they have the monopoly on power in this country because somebody bequeathed it to them. What do I mean? And leave it for them in a will. Well, I've always asked the question, who are they referring to? Eric Williams? Well, I want to know who gave Trinidad and Tobago to Eric Williams. If that is a stupid belief in these so-called intelligent people who find themselves at the upper echelons of the PNM. But that being as it may, we have to report to you tonight. And of course, I have with me, as usual, of course, Deputy Political Leader of Love. And of course, we have a businessman, of course, who has been a stalwart and who has been a major part of this campaign. And let me tell you this. As we have told you, or if you weren't listening, or you weren't aware, or we didn't capture you on that particular program that we expressed our role in this campaign, I want to tell you, if you look all over social media today, Facebook, YouTube, you will see that it is, of course, the Laventil East Morvan, the Laventil West, and the Port au Prince South candidates being featured regularly. Well, that is because of a fundamental philosophy, and that is of love, that is, and that is that we are concerned with the socio-economic and practicality of what we call Laventil. And Laventil for us begins, of course, in East Port of Spain and ends somewhere in Malik in the east. And so you will understand that the party was designed to, of course, be a regional party, not a national party, a regional party concerned with those three constituencies. So you'll understand that the interest that the Love has in the coalition of interests is really these constituencies. And therefore, we have been making, of course, our services available, our knowledge available, in order, of course, to get to the electorate that it's time that we understand our power in this index finger, and more importantly, that we do things in our best interest. That being as it may, let me, of course, formally start the program. A present welcome to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, present good day to you. This is, yes, the Corridor Transformation, your host, Lennox. I should say your host, I should say your host, plural. Yeah, because, of course, as we move forward, we will have a live audience as well. We have a camera that we have acquired. I want to thank, of course, those persons who sponsored that camera and the additional equipment that we needed in order to be down here. Otherwise, of course, as you know, about a week or two ago, we have a difficulty, of course, beaming from downstairs of the facility that we have on George Street in Port of Spain. Yes, people, we are right here. And we're not going to depart. Nobody can run us. And why am I saying that? I will them out. But the fact of the matter is that we have a solid foundation here in Port of Spain, and we are going to, of course, continue to consolidate. That being as it may, let me, of course, formally get into the mood as we, of course, introduce, after, of course, the formal introduction, the members of the panel that will be discussing, of course, the politics moving towards the 28th of this month. Yes, just about a week away.
The UNC and the rising sun. What time it is? What time it is?
Yes, indeed, what time it is. It is time, of course, for action. It's a time for voting. It's a time to vote out the PNM because they have been distressful, they have been evil, they have been wicked, they have been diabolical, they have been luciferous, and of course, barbaric. Policies and programs notwithstanding. But that being as it may, of course, let me just, of course, by way of introduction, get, of course, immediately to my deputy political leader, Dada Gabriel, who of course will just bring introductory remarks because we have so much to talk about, having been of course away from each other this length of time. Yeah, all of 2 days. All of 2 days. Too long. Too long. It feels like a year. But of course, the 28th is feeling like if it should have been yesterday or indeed tomorrow. But that being as it may, let's go straight, of course, to and hand you over to, of course, Deputy Political Leader Dada Gabriel.
Pleasant good night, pleasant good night. My people of love, love and tip, love and tell. Give me a long volume. Oh my gosh, I feel the vibes, I feel the vibes. Next 6 days, next 8 days, next 10 days, 9 days. You see this, you see our evolution. I am going to the poll. COP, 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 PP. Everybody coalition of interest. Lavantel East, Lavantel West. I walk every day with them, every single day. My brother, this is a holy week. This is a holy week. My political leader, and he start out that he didn't say a prayer. He never said a prayer. Because we know with Vikings, we need to go to war. My brother, my sisters, is no. I telling you, my brothers and sisters, do not go to work. Colin Bird say we never strike. This is the first time we strike. Nobody should go to work on that 28th of April. All we're doing is go and vote. Go and vote on April the 28th. Because it hurt me, we will show them we can't fight the police, we can't fight the army, we can't fight nobody. But see, April 20th, we want everybody to stay at home and go and vote. Because the 29th is okay, it's when UNC win, everybody wins. I pass it back on to my leader. Enjoy your day.
Yes, indeed, of course, he's talking like if he is terminal, but that is not so. We have just started. Let me say that, yes, while we respect, of course, the nature and the purpose for this holiday, of course, Good Friday being yesterday, when, of course, they commemorate the crucifixion of Jesus Christ on the cross on Calvary. But the fact of the matter is that we must be discerning people. The so-called Prime Minister are talking about Stuart Young would have taken all of these factors into consideration. In fact, when he was being inaugurated and given his instruments of authority as a Prime Minister by the President, and his inaugural speech, he did talk about the diversity of Trinidad and Tobago and our multicultural and multi-religious, let's say, backgrounds. It means, therefore, a person who has a knowledge of those factors would have, and in fact, I think he also mentioned that it was a holy period, the month of March into April. He knew because he talked about, of course, the Baptist holiday at the end of March. He talked about the beginning of Lent. So he must have known that Easter as well would have fallen within the period that he would have been contemplating to, of course, have a snap, as he would have liked it to be, elections. Because the only consideration clearly he had in mind, not those of a spiritual nature, and who would have wanted, of course, to celebrate in peace, quiet, and not have, of course, the problem of election with all of its noise and all of its decibels being, of course, increased under because of the abnormal situation of a campaign, a political campaign that is so crucial to Trinidad and Tobago, that every political party, including the PNM, did not rest. And of course, especially the PNM, they couldn't rest because they realized that they were caught with their pants down and not the opposition. UNC and of course under the coalition of interests. It's an irony, but the Lord moves in mysterious ways his wonders to perform. And those who engage in activities to harm others, take care that the harm that they wish for others may well harm them. Well, in this case, of course, it is clear, it is pellucid, it is conspicuous that the PNM has harmed themselves. Some people may say, and you would forgive me if I say it on this holy day, you will forgive me, of course, if I say it in the context of what is happening out there, because only today we heard of chopping up of senior citizens and, of course, home invasions, etc., and people committing suicide. But, of course, what they have done is shot themselves in both feet. They have shot themselves in both feet because they thought that the population was so stupid, so complacent, so docile, that they would, of course, been able to call an election in such circumstances where the party itself that has called the election, talking about the PNM, was in total, of course, what I consider to be shambolic and, of course, in absolute turmoil, and at the same time have imploded. And we saw that because suddenly Rowley is on the campaign trail. Rowley is on a platform. Why? After he told us in non-certain terms and with a high degree of what I consider to be definiteness, because he was definite. He said that he wants to go away with his wife and make up for lost time, etc. Hogwash. Hogwash. They shot themselves in both feet, and I have no qualms in, of course, using those statements at this time, because the Lord said that, of course, when the enemy has become the enemy, and the Bible is replete, whether it be Moses, and whether it be, of course, Daniel, when he slayed, of course, the giant called Goliath, all of that. So the Bible is replete, and therefore today we cannot see it strictly as a holy day or a holy period, while of course these satanic, evil, wicked, diabolical, Luciferian individuals, they plunge us in this situation, but the Lord knows best. The Lord knows best. And of course we are seen all over the place, where, of course, as the Romans would say in their mythology, that, of course, who the gods wish to destroy, they first send them mad. And they have gone mad on the platform. The kind of nonsense that they are talking. We will discuss some of it tonight. And we will prove it to you as well. But in the meantime, let me, of course, without further ado, give, of course, the mic to one of our stalwart in the community, a businessman, of course, and he will, of course, do the introduction. I think by now he have grown accustomed to, of course, introducing himself and the microphone and, of course, the cameras. Welcome, my friend.
Good night to everybody. My political leader, Lennox Smith, and my deputy leader, Dada Gabriel, and to the people out there, to my brothers and sisters who in Christ, who Baptist, Christianity, who celebrate this day in Christ and the risen of Christ, I wish you a happy holiday. And may God bless you, and Jesus Christ bless you, and the Holy Spirit be with you, and bless us so we can do something better for our country today. Everybody, I ask you to pray for us today. Pray for UNC, so we can get a victory over PNM, and our country could come back to a standard, and we could live peaceful and nice and lovely. Imagine this is only It's all kind of disaster going on in our country today. Murders, suicide, all sorts of things going on. It's only the Lord could tell me, and Jesus Christ could tell me what's really going on, because I can't really say, but it's really sad to some family out there right now who grieving the loss, who the little child who get molested, and it's really sad. And I think because our girls, and it's really hard to know that going on in our country right now, but everything is happening for a reason. It was because right now, this week's supposed to be a religious week. We have to fight it under an election. All kind of demonic things going on, all kind of evil going on right now, and to come forward with this election, it's all kind of people saying prayers, all kind of people doing all kind of things, and sometimes the youngs get caught up in this kind of thing, and the whole country get caught up in this. So even people balling outside there, we power so strong then. I ain't calling him, but they say yellow. They say yellow is the code. There are people saying all of that now. Yellow is the code because they know yellow is really the code right now. And I here today to really. I here today because I concerned about the things that are going on in our country. I walk in with all the different leaders from COP, COP, UNC. I walk in, even yesterday I walked with Jack Warner and COP leaders, and also our representative who are here today. You understand me? Kurt Senate, where I get attached to, and I love him very bad because he's making a good compact in our areas to the youths, and the youths in Silot respond very well to him. And that was a good side. From the front of Silot to the back of Silot, we walk, and from the other side to the next side we walk, and it was a good turnout. Mr. Kurt Senate is the man who represented and on that side, and it was really good. So that means UNC and COP, the condition of love, and everybody was there. Yeah, Sammy, because it's a love. Because this is a victory we all won. So asking everybody, tonight, asking everybody to, between tonight, to say a prayer to us. Say a prayer to our country. Say a prayer to bless our leaders, Mrs. Kamala, and the others who in the coalition with us. To bless us to we to get a better victory and a swift victory, because we just have some couple more days. Even the leader of PNM come out to ex-leader, in fact, come out of his shell, where he's supposed to be on holiday right now, enjoying himself with his wife, where he sell the nation, he going, and it's not like that, because then it's a fight. It's a fight, and we have strong leaders behind us. We have strong leaders behind us between our condition, you understand me? Mr. Lennox Smith, Mr. So Mr. Senate, some plenty others, I could just keep on calling him, but right now though, I'll be here tonight and observing, so if I have to come back, I have plenty more to say, But ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the program as we are here tonight, right?
Thank you. Thank you very much, of course, and very, very articulate, of course, and very passionate as well. But of course, just joining us, of course, is the candidate for Port of Spring South, of course, Kurt Senate, of course, representing the COP, of course, and as you know, Mr. Ramada is, of course, the political leader of COP. Of course, you also know that, of course, in this race, as far as the UNC coalition of interests is concerned, well, we also have, of course, a PEP as part of the coalition of interest, and we also have, indeed, the OWTU and other trade unions that are on board. It's really, really a coalition of interests, and no one could take that away. Only those who, of course, do not have the serious responsibility of managing the affairs of the country, or put another way, that they are not serious in treating with the matters that are before us, because they cannot tell me, none of them, especially those who have gravitated there, and therefore a betrayal. They cannot tell us, they cannot tell me or you that the PNM has done something that none of us would have expected that to have been done by a PNM government, as bad as past governments of the PNM would have been. I mean, the level of perfidiousness or betrayal is phenomenal. The amount of mismanagement, nepotism, cronyism, corruption, and rank and unadulterated abuse of office, public office. One wonders if it is the PNM and Trinidad and Tobago the Bible was referring to when they talk about, of course, evil or spiritual wickedness in high places. Because, of course, Rowley would have completed his, what he called the Likoto Jumbi agenda. And therefore, of course, but in such circumstance, we always knew that what? Evil could never prevail over good. And therefore, the population is now, of course, about to judge, to administer judgment on those who have, of course, deceived us, those who have abused office, those who have, of course, subjected the vulnerable to the most heinous, evil, wicked. And then, of course, we only have to look at the situation with respect to crime. We have to look at the situation with respect to young people and their gravitation to gang warfare, borderline issue, and of course violence in school, and most important, either underperforming or not performing in school, in the education system. Yet still, people, you have this administration, this incumbent, what I consider to be lame duck administration, still telling us and unveiling plans that not only were they already implemented, not plans that we already knew about, but attempting, of course, to repackage it so as to make it look as though it is something new, and they have the audacity, the temerity, the gall, and the effrontery to put it in a so-called manifesto. I tell you, these people have no shame, but we will, of course, extrapolate. Don't forget, of course, the number is still available, 337-6940. You can call, and as I said, of course, the candidate for the COP in, of course, the coalition of interest is here with us, of course, Kurt Sinet, and I will turn the mic over to him so that, of course, he will make his introductory and maybe express some of the developments that have been taking place in his own campaign, because, of course, we have our own campaign, but, of course, dealing with Laventille East movement. Well, of course, his is Port of Spain South, and I'm sure that he has a lot to talk about. So, without further ado, welcome to the Corridor Transformation, Kurt Sinet.
Hello, good evening to each and everyone who is listening. Pleasant good evening to Trinidad and Tobago. Pleasant good evening to Port of Spain South, and also Laventille West, Laventille East. Good morning. Good evening. I want to thank you all for bringing me on this program here today. But on the campaign trail, in Port of Spain South, it has been amazing. It has been very amazing to me to see the condition of some of these areas that these people are living under. I think honestly that the government needs to do something about it. if it is once I is part of the once I'm involved in the government, I will be at this point in time will be helping out people in these areas so that they can benefit from the wealth of this country. I want to thank all my supporters who came out and work with me since I started. They have been working with me feverishly to ensure that we bring home this election in Port-au-Prince South. What I was amazed with this morning is when I pick up the Guardian newspaper and I saw where the Guardian is stating that the government is now willing to release U.S. funds to businesses that $50,000. I wonder if you all really and truly understand something like what it is has been taking place here. If you all have been watching the Israel actually destroying the Palestine, why the Palestine has been getting on so trying to get rid of the Israelis. It's actually what is taking place there is that the Israel has so much they give water to them, they give gas to them, and they have control over these things. So when you take into consideration what take place, what the government is doing, they have now take the US dollars and holding it, and it's now coming out for the election. They have now offering small business and also medium and small businesses. They would be able to get access to $50,000. You all on 50,000 US. But I wonder if you all understand the magnitude of that, the pressure that would have before the releasing of that funds. The pressure that the people would have to be under all the time because of the holding back of the US dollars for these businesses to purchase US. So what actually went on there is that the businesses would have to now purchase these US dollars on the black market at a very high cost. And that cost would now have to be sent down to you, the customers, would feel the brunt of it. That is a very, very disturbing, I would say. And I think at the end of the day, that when something like this is happening to you, you have no doubt but to vote them out. Vote them out for withholding the US dollars from you, the business people, and having you, the business people, to buy it on the black market. And now you, for the price, sometimes $8, $9 TT for one US, and causing the economy to actually go up, inflation to go up. So it's something that we need to pay close attention to. I want to stop here for now.
Yes, indeed. Well, of course, my friend, that is very current news, and of course the question is where they would have gotten the money from at this time, and is it that there is something extremely sinister, something evil about this government in terms of deliberately stymieing and of course crippling the economy. Small and medium businesses have been reeling, particularly coming out of COVID and the fact that the entire economy was closed down. And one would have expected that that kind of what I consider to be opening the valve would have been done, because there was, of course, a committee that most of the people left, abandoned for, of course, to the road of recovery. That was the term that they were being used. But to find this money, but I know what has happened here. I'm not speculating, but of course, comments, and even though I don't have the facts, my friend, of course, and I'll ask you to join me here, any one of you. The fact of the matter is that we learned that they borrowed 250 million from First Citizen Bank. They borrowed a further 200 million from Republic Bank, yes, Republic Bank. And that was, of course, the monies that part of which were to, of course, assist in providing Exim Bank, which is the facility that, the institution that provides that facility on behalf of the government to these small businesses, especially for exporters. And then, of course, you also have that money to be used for the plethora of paving and I'm sure the expansion of the URP, expansion of CPEP, etc. And while, of course, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to, of course, understand why the sudden acquisition and the sudden, should I say, magnanimity or the generosity of the government, because over the last 9 years, they weren't that generous. Of course, I have my own reason as to why they are doing it, beyond, of course, what is the obvious. But I would like to hear your comment, Sinet, and then, of course, we will take it to our friend here.
That is why they are doing it?
Yeah. Why
I think it's
why they suddenly have found all this money, and that they are so generous now, when, of course, they were asking us to belt tighten so much so that, our aunt has 3 segments, the one between the thorax and the bottom is very, very narrow. Well, most of us are seeing, of course, a state where it's not only narrow, but it might cut off just now. First must be belt tighten, but go ahead.
Well, it's only one thing I could see. The time again that they decide to bring this is around election time. It's all election gimmick that is being handed down here, and to actually withheld the cash, the U.S. cash from the businesses, and then now coming to say that you are now offering this after 5 years and more. The citizens of this country had suffered, and you all know trying to release this amount of US dollars. I think it's a total gimmick, and I honestly believe that the public at this point in time is seeing straight through it.
Yes, indeed.
Seeing straight through it.
And I want to ask, is an obvious question that I want to ask, but we always give way to the caller. So let's hear if it's a caller that wants to get into the conversation. President Knight, welcome to the corridor. Yes, okay, Nego Martin. Go ahead.
I want to pick up.
First and foremost, are you getting us clean and nice out there?
Yeah. And I was
Okay, thank you very much. All right, go ahead.
And to your 2 co-hosts here,
Yes.
Mr. Senate, and I know a Senate 10, 15 years ago, and he was a colleague of mine in a work environment. I won't call it. So Senate was the boxer, and he was always bigging up the boxer brother. And good night to your other co-host there. I want to talk to you about, I like to observe, and I come in at here, and I am a pseudo investigative reporter, and I'm going straight at KCR, and we all know who's KCR. He called a former Attorney General dog, right?
Yes.
One of them called a former Minister of Finance a potong.
Yes.
That is small pin. I wonder what he will call small pin when he follow up with small pin. He might call him meow. But let me get to the substance of it.
Uh-huh.
In the newspaper article. He said the man who we call Dog allegedly leaked some information in the newspaper. And he said he saw the document clearly with his wife's name on it. And it's for 40 million in a bank account of the Caymans, right?
Yes.
First of all, it's passing strange that he has sued the news, the AG, nor the television statement.
Yeah.
But let me collect the dots for you. You know where it's Cayman Islands?
Yes.
You know what
Yeah, in the
contractor
Mediterranean.
Trinidad?
there.
He is the best friend of KCR. And his company is registered in the Cayman Islands, right? What that tells you is that go to track for passing money, laundering money. No. A year ago, he went.
You breaking up, boy?
I'm breaking up.
Go ahead now. Go ahead. You're more clear. Yeah.
Right. Ireland is the doorstep to a tax-haven country called the Isles of Man. You can actually walk across to the Isles of Man,
Right.
and you could basically open a bank account and you are protected. He went to vacation there with his wife. So I put in 2 and 2 and I gave 14.
Right.
Why did all of us suddenly go to Ireland? We are nothing in Ireland. Nobody want to go to Ireland to stay. Ireland cold like a box of ice. It's hardly have any activity. But you go on there. The man say your wife had a bank account. Yes, sue him. You get an opportunity to lie low and say you're going on a visit. The only thing I can come up with is, do you have something to hide? And the fact that you have always been tonguing him with his past activities with the underage and the guards and the thing, and here give you any filing in the court for you to come and prove that he's wrong. Is this another way of letting it lie low? So if you sue somebody, they could come and show us the documents. Another critical thing is that my last point is the bus route as of, I think, next week to May the 5th. It's going to have traffic disruption, paving roads and all kind of thing. What do people do on the bus route? Mass transport. They get in and out of Port of Spain and the whole East-West corridor. Is that an arrangement with the EBC and the Ministry of Work to suppress voter participation? Because 2 hours given to voters to come and vote is not enough, because you have traffic jam, you have pothole, you have all kind of change in things. So I am proposing a half day now, because they have too much things that could play into the hands of the PNM.
Yes.
Even if a blackout show up in the sky, the PNM know how to extend the voter time. So enjoy yourself and congratulations, fellas. I'm giving Olia a big up so that.
Thank you very much, of course, and best regards for the rest of the holiday, because of course we have a tough week as Tuesday.
Have no fear.
All right, my friend.
The path for victory has already been cast. I have no fear about that.
Yes, indeed. All right, thank you very much. Yes, Senator. So we were on the. Thank you very much for that call. Of course, the number to call. Let me make sure that the telephone on the system itself is working. As you know, the technology is such that the vicissitude, the rise and fall, the fortunes and the misfortunes. I can tell you, I have been there, so I know. Okay, so I have engaged, of course, the WhatsApp on the system itself, so maybe we'll get a call from the system. It's always better than having to, of course, call through a handset. But let's see how things will work. So those of you who are there, of course, I know that we have to make up for some lost time, and therefore people's interests may be weighed a bit. And of course, you have so much competition, with, of course, having regard to the season. And so I know that you want to get a piece of everything. Yes, Senator. we were talking about before the caller came in. Of course, he's a man that as he said, he's a pseudo means false. So I don't want to say pseudo. I would use the word maybe quasi detective. Well, of course, well, we have another call one time. Mr. Santa Cruz is here, boy. What? Mr. Santa Cruz is here early, girl. Pleasant good night, welcome. Pleasant good night, welcome. Hello? Hello? I know it's Mr. Santa Cruz. Hello?
Hello?
All right, yes, yes, so you are on the corridor.
Lennox,
Yes,
sorry
hear you.
about that. Lennox, good night to you and to everybody there.
Yes,
Lennox, finally I track you down.
Yes,
Lennox, 9 days and 12 hours to victory.
Yes, man.
We cannot lose faith. We cannot lose faith. I know a lot of people, they have been calling me. They're feeling so depressed. How this looking, how that looking. I say, listen, all we have to do now is to row and pray. Lennox, you know why? For the amount of lies that are being spewed on that platform.
Oh, yes.
Lennox, you are not hearing them talking about what they did for the country for the last 9 years. But you are still hearing about what Kamala do, the fire truck, the Section 34, the live sport. You understand? They just regurgitated everything. But I want to tell Rowley and company, that might have worked in 2015. It might have worked in 2020, but it's certainly not going to work in 2025. Because we know better. Well, not me, I know all along. I didn't fall for his rhetoric, right? We knew all along what it is was going on, his lies. And you see now, he bited everybody. He bited everybody. But Lennox, I'll tell you something. You see how angry he got at John Jeremy? And talking about how John Jeremy is a dog and he exposed this on the platform. But I have a strong feeling that this Manning who encouraged John Jeremy to expose that 40 million offshore bank account. I have a feeling it's that, and that is why I hear John Jeremy so. But you know what is distasteful? He could have stand up on a platform and tell everybody that Bodilal have a mall in Holland. All who came into the UNC bankrupt and couldn't buy a doubles, and today they are billionaires. Showing people houses and saying it's UNC people houses. But when it fall in your court, you didn't like it. But you see what? Good for the PNM, not good for anybody else.
Yes.
But I will tell you something here tonight, Lennox. Everything is going haywire in Balancing House.
Of
and
course.
it's real cuss out.
The
real cuss out.
Bamsi palpitating. You know,
Yes,
the
yes.
heart move from their chest, from their thoracic cavity to, of course, their their girdle. Let's put it that way.
Yes, because Lennox, I hear it's real cuss out going on,
Of
and he
course.
warned them. I heard he and Stuart Young walked out on the meeting with the MPs, and he told them that if they lose the election, it will be because of the MPs. But I want to say here tonight before I leave, it's not because of the MPs, it's because of you and this army man with all your lies, half-truths, innuendo, and propaganda. And it's all the corruption that people are fed up of. And that is why they're going to lose the election. Lennox, thanks a lot. Take care and have a good night.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, of course. That was, of course, our external, we like to call her external correspondence, Ms. Santa Cruz, who, of course, doesn't fail to deliver information that are not only factual, but also verifiable, the veracity of which you cannot, of course, question. And that has been, of course, the hallmark of not just herself, but this program, in terms of making certain that what we say we can prove, and what we can prove is because that's the thing that we would have said. That being as it may, of course, I think Sinan got a bit of, let's say, information to, of course, boost his response to the original question that we would have had. why it is that, of course, the sudden, of course, largesse, the sudden opening of the financial valve, and of course the literally opening up of the treasury of the country, so that of course they can now find and suddenly of course are so concerned. In fact, they went on to say, instead of the, I think, I know it was mentioned in the budget, but the Prime Minister gave instructions, of course, for immediate discussion, and I think the teaching union, the union that represent teachers, I think they lapped it up. They can't wait because they say they played for what they could see. Well, that tells you not only as to making how uncertain they are or how skeptical they are about this government, but also they themselves seem not to have faith. But I want to say that when the UNC coalition of interest gets into government, they better don't come back and say that they want the difference from the 5% that they would have accepted. Neither those who would have accepted, of course, 4%. I want to make it very clear, because if I have any say at all, then I will be extremely harsh with these people who fail to, of course, recognize that it is a snap election. It is only a couple of days away, and there is nothing the PNM can do but to lose this election so that we can get a breath of fresh air and, of course, see a better day for Trinidad and Tobago. But let me not preempt, my friend. I know you have a busy schedule, so whenever you say you want to leave, it's quite all right, because we go until 10 o'clock. So, okay. So the option is yours.
I honestly believe that I'm smelling a sort of desperation coming from the government at this point in time, because you have a call coming in.
Yeah. All right. The Senate want to say something, and only the ceremony man. I think he may not have to say, or may not stay for the whole 10 until 10 o'clock. So only better make use of the man. But that means, as it may, a pleasant good night. We give way always to you, the callers. Go ahead.
Good night, Junior.
Good night, my friend.
My brother.
Yes.
All right. Good night to Mr. Senate and the other gentleman here. Now, what's happening? Your boy on the platform a couple nights ago, and he said Kamala fine in 2010 when she come into power. But he said he wasn't a member of the PNM or anything like that. He just stand up in a corner. But if you go back to the 16th of last month, he tell you on the platform in Woodbrook that in 1998, when he come back to Trinidad, he went to a meeting and he was listening to Pandy. And when he heard Pandy talk, he started about, he said, oh, here you know corruption thing, and then he joined the PNM then. So since then, and he lying now, type 2 lie. He lied with the word with Kamala that she fired him in 2010, and he said he wasn't no politically affiliated with the PNM. Then he come back now and say on the 16th last month, he said how we talk about this 1998 thing, and then he joined the PNM. So it's in 2002 he in the PNM, so he's talking stupidness and he lied. Next thing, what year the hospital in Tobago is supposed to finish with?
Pardon?
That's supposed to finish in 2009, 2010.
Uh-huh.
But who move all the material and carry it in his gate? Rowley Lennox. When calling people dog.
Yes. They gone mad. As
you say, they send them mad.
Yes.
Right? No. If we talking about dogs so much, if you crossbreed a Shih Tzu and a Potong, what you get?
I sure you have the answer.
You get Shih Tzu.
I hear you.
Good night, my brother. I'll call you about Tuesday.
No problem. All right, let me hope that we could get the Senate to finish his response. To, of course, the sudden, of course, largesse, the sudden magnanimity, the sudden kindness, the sudden generosity of this, of course, what I can say, mean and meager government. Go ahead.
What I would like to say is that the people of my constituency in which I'm representing, Port au Prince South, I will let you all, I want you all judge me by my works, and I have no fear that you all would be part of this governance structure that I believe that is needed. You have a next call coming in.
Finish your statement quick.
Is
That you need.
that I think it's very important for me as MP that my purchases understand what would be the bills would be in cabinet. So it's important that they know, so that they would be able to give me the okay in what it is, what they would want to take place in the bill.
Beautiful.
So it's always in that way you will have the people now being part of true democracy. They would see they will get accustomed to it and making decisions to help build the country.
Rather than hand me down and talk down too. President, good night. Welcome to the corridor. I know that the people have been, of course, yearning and they have been impatient at times, but at the end of the day, the Lord, of course, doesn't give you more than you can carry. And of course, at the end of the day, once you are sincere, these things happen, like a program tonight. But go ahead, Mr. Tagrigo.
Yeah, you hear me good there?
Loud and clear, my friend.
Right. A partner, a good partner of mine. Was me a dog once and I make him cry. And everybody laugh at him.
Okay.
Right? That is up in Aruka sometime a couple of years ago.
Right.
I walk up to him, I say, shake my hand. He get confused. I say, I'm proud to be called a dog, but everybody started to laugh. I say, a dog is a noble animal. You didn't know that? Well, fellas around here, he's stupid on it. So I want to tell John Jeremy, be proud that Rowdy called you a dog because nobody can call Rowdy a dog. A dog is a noble animal. What part of Rowdy have nobility in it? Or any members? Not one of them. Nobody will call a dog. Right?
Okay.
Let me get to my major point now. In 1986, Lennox, my partner now deceased.
Yes.
And I call him, I say, we're going to Indigo Martin. He had the whole of the go on in the air. But he was a very imaginative man like myself.
Right.
I said, that means the PNM can get 6 seats? He said, exactly. So I went into a bakery on Chagri to you. Remember Francis as well, the jockey? Francis had the bakery on Chagri to you.
Right.
So when I go on in here, I said, Cisco, I should call him Cisco. PNM can get 6 seats. The other 1% man walking in, the man get up and want to fight. Yeah, I said, come now. I said, you don't even have respect for the bakery you're working for. From outside on the road, we go fight. Come wait. So after the election, Francis and all asked me, see what? How come you know they couldn't do it? Only get 6 seats, right? I said, but we went to school together, we started load the right house together. You know my imagination, how I could see. My own brother home and my family could be here. So when I get three votes, 3 seats up, everybody come to me. I said, boy, I could see the normal man can't see. And there are plenty others like me. When my partner gave me that information in the I don't know they couldn't get 6 seats. Hard for people to believe that the mighty PNM get 6 seats, they get 3. And if Robinson did press, and they could have lose the seat too.
Right.
So in this
We have some
election,
more calls coming in. We have some one after the next, so you have to speed up.
I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
Election, this one will coming up here. I like you. I didn't see which part that Trinidad them getting a seat, you know.
Yeah. I hear you, my friend. But of course, my prediction has been from time immemorial is that 39 in Trinidad for the UNC coalition of interest. And of course, the 2 in Tobago will not go to PNM. That's for sure. So they would have been decimated after, of course, this election. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yes, indeed. Caller, just hold on. We're trying to get you. Oh, boy, we lost that one. Oh, we get them. All right. Oh, my goodness. Yes, my friend. Yes, my New York friend. Pleasant in New York, is it? No. Canada. Canada?
This is not Canada. This is Trin City, and I'm in Trin City.
Yeah,
Pleasant good night to
all
you,
right, my
Lennox.
friend. All right, my friend. Okay. Well, we are downstairs. The facility, and we have Kurt Sennett with us, the candidate, the COP candidate for Port of Spain South, and of course he has been giving us some very interesting development based on his experience and based on his own knowledge as to what he would like to do as far as the delivery to these constituents are concerned, when he would have been declared victorious on the 28th of this month.
Well, first I must say congratulations to him. Congratulations to the love movement. Congratulations to everyone who's on this line. We have reached the part now that we have accomplished everything that has to be done. My brothers who are sitting there, I want to tell you congratulations personally. You're going to be doing a great job for the constituency of Laventille. And this is what I would like and hope for the best for you. That whatever it is you guys decide to do to go forward for the betterment of the Laventille area, we will be 100% behind you, because we know you're not going to leave nobody behind. And
Yes.
this is what we want. We want people to move forward so that we can move with you. Right? So I endorse you guys, and you know you have to have a better relationship. You have a good team with you. The people on the ground is behind you. So let's make a change for Laventille, and you know it's going to be good. Lennox,
Yes.
one question.
Go ahead.
If you know, well, I have to speak to you again. I've
Yes.
been not dodging you, but I have been working behind some scenes, and we have somebody in common. But
Okay.
when I see you, we will talk about that.
Okay.
But yes, within the next day or two, I will give you a call. But other
Great.
than that, pleasant good night, Miss Sandra Cruz. Pleasant good night. Sweet TNT is here. The weather is nice. Everything is good, and you know we are enjoying it. So, but civil duties, civil rights, and we must do what we have to do.
Yes, ma'am.
UNC Love organization, we doing good. We have
Thank
some
you.
ideas, but we go see that to talk. But everyone, your candidates, blessings, go forward, go brave, don't hold back. You just do what you got to do. We're behind you, all right? So we'll talk.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right,
Thank you
Lennox?
very much for
Good
your
night,
call.
everyone.
Yeah, man. All right. Call me
All right.
anytime. It is becoming urgent now, as you know. All right. So, of course, people, we have a fanatic night, and you know, you wouldn't believe that, of course, we had a pause about as long as 2 days, and, you know, people have been calling and saying, well, why the program has of course, taken that hiatus. But, you know, circumstances beyond our control. We couldn't get the internet to work down here, as you know. Well, of course, I want to thank at this point in time Cyrus for every virus, because he came up with the solution. We had a cable that came from upstairs, but it wasn't long enough, so it couldn't reach here. But what he did, he called me suddenly, when I think it was Friday, and he said, listen, I found a solution. And he have a kind of joining device, and he joined up. He gave me another 50 feet cable, and he has something that creates a joint. I will call it a joint. I don't know the exact name. But of course, put them together, and boy, it came right here with excess cable, and now we can even go outside and of course have a program. So I want to thank Cyrus and anybody who of course wanted their technology for their devices updated and or get new ones. Well, please, I will put up the numbers and so on. At least I owe it to him. He has not asked me to do it, but I think when a good deed is shown or done, that of course the people have a responsibility to reciprocate, particularly where of course the person may have a business and therefore would have taken out of their business to assist a program such as this. I think we it's only fair that we reciprocate because we have an audience, so to speak, that may well be converted because you're using technology to talk to us, may well be converted to some kind of business opportunity for Cyrus. Oh gosh, we seem to be only getting calls, boy. But say what? Let me just take this one as well. Pleasant good night, welcome.
Yes, good night. Miss Arima speaking here.
Yes, good night, my dear.
Well, this thing with dog and dog and dog. And Rowley vex and things fly out him out and he called the man a dog.
Well, we have Mr. Senate here. Don't forget the candidate for Port-au-Prince South is with us tonight.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
You know that me, I just say good night to everybody.
Yeah.
Good night. I mean good night, gentlemen.
Yes.
Excuse me.
No problem.
So, the thing with dog and dog and dog. I hear Miss Santa Cruz calling there just now a little while ago,
Yes.
and she talking about how Rowley called the man a dog. She shouldn't talk about that. I know her get her name, she called me a dog. What you saying about that? Andy, your friend says okay for she to say dog. She called me a dog months ago.
Don't
when
forget,
she
of course,
had
we are
dogs
nearing
and she run out.
the 28th.
Don't hold me up. Don't hold me up.
Don't forget we are
When
nearing the
she run
28th.
out, she does say all kind of things. She shouldn't talk about Rowley. She shouldn't talk about nobody. Them kind of things she must remember and hush him out. And don't say nothing. She does remember all
So what
kind
do you
of
have
things,
for
but
us?
she
What
must
do you have for
remember
us?
that. I not hearing you properly.
I said, what new you have for us?
One, you don't try to jam me, Lennox. Don't
Yeah, well,
try to
because
jam
I
me.
mean, we don't have much time,
You're
and
supposed-
those
It's not time.
those
You don't have time for
trivialities
the Tagarari
is
grandma
irrelevant.
when he talk any shit whole time.
Right.
Long story. I gone.
All right, my dear. All right, my dear. She just came. This program has all kinds. So you to get people. Some people use it to vent and all that. But that being as it may. Yeah. So tell us some of your immediate experiences. In fact, I want to know how long have you been contemplating, or is it the first time that you have, of course, taken this, what I consider the giant step to become a candidate? I mean, I'm a seasoned campaigner, so I can't say about that about me, but certainly, I don't know, with respect to you, I know that you have been politically active as far as COP is concerned. But of course, beyond that, I wouldn't know, except of course, when I had a very wonderful engagement with you when you were a director of the East Portland Development Company, and I was, of course, the vice chairman then. But that being as it may, so tell me what has been. Tell me a little more about, because the constituents will want to know
about me.
Who is this man?
Okay.
Called the boxer.
Well, the name the boxer at the end of the day, a lot of people, because I used to box. My name is Kurt Sinnott, and I have been.
Just hold on, Mr. Sinnott, a very important jump here. Yeah, okay. Good.
Yes, my name is Kurt Sinnott. I have been a boxer for Trinidad and Tobago, representing Trinidad and Tobago at I would say at the highest level. First boxer to qualify for the Olympic Games ever for Trinidad and Tobago.
Wow.
And has been 9-time Caribbean champion. 9-time national champion, 4-time Caribbean champion, and voted best boxer of the tournament. So I'm into sports. I'm also into culture. I'm one that believes that our young people could have a big future. And because if we take into consideration the problems that we are having today, we don't have much things at all that our young people could go to coming out from school. And when you take into consideration first world countries, you would see that sports and culture plays a pivotal role in the development of the humanity. So I hope that not just hope, I know that the past government which is the PNM. I call that saying pass now because I actually believe that the coalition is going to be
conclusion,
would be the government now. Just the process going through. But I'm very interested in sports and culture to ensure that our young people in these communities could be a little more active and get themselves involved in other activities that can take up some of their time. Right. In my constituency, especially I would say in the areas such as Lavantil, piece of Lavantil, Sealot, we have a lot of unemployment youth who is not seeing a way out at this point in time. And I personally would be taking that into consideration to ensure that these young men get themselves with a trade so that they can ply and make money for a living.
Great.
So that is a key.
Mr. Cruz is still on the line. But after Mr. Cruz is finished, I would have had an experience that I think I want to share with you all at this time. But I want to say in advance that it is nothing negative, one, and two, that of course he means what he said. He means what he says, and I'm going to show you why. After, of course, go ahead, Mr. Cruz.
Lennox, good night again. Lennox in 1986, when the NAR was contesting the elections, I remember Clive Pantin, the then minister for Port of Spain South, right? When he went down there to Silos, he singled out an area called Katanga.
Yes.
And the stories that he told us that came out of there, right? Then fast forward to 2020, when the COP was campaigning down here, and Solomon was the candidate for Port of Spain South. The same stories we heard again coming out of Sealots. And I was shocked, Lennox, when I saw that video on social media. 2025, the video, they showed you Jack Warner and Mr. Sinet, Prakash, and a whole set of people, where these people were on a piece of styrofoam crossing that river.
Yeah.
Lennox 2025. And you want to tell me things have not changed in that area?
Now, I want to tell you, it has gotten worse, you know, because before that stereotext box that they chance their life with the rope that would secure them probably to avoid danger. There was, of course, wooden raft that they would cross with, but that has deteriorated to something that, I mean, nobody in their right mind will want to cross any water, any such a water with that, in that kind of contraption.
And you know, Lennox, people on social media were saying, oh, I'm sure they have another route, and if they have a stove to carry across or a fridge to carry across. I said, what makes you feel people have electricity? They even have appliances. And to see, but they don't want to admit that the PNM has neglected these people for over 60-something years, because Eric William was the MP for that area. That's just to show you the PNM failure. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Lennox.
No problem. And I want to add quickly that, of course, latrines is also a feature down on that area, quite apart from on the hill. So on that, in that place, close to the, of course, the sea, on the shore, and therefore forming part of the shoreline, the northeastern side, northwestern part of Trinidad. So, go ahead.
Tears came to my eye when I walked through places like not Sealot, right Duncan Street in Port of Spain here. You have people living there, and the sewer system is backing up. And understand that they have asked HDC, they have reported on it, and sewer water is just flowing in the drainage there, normal. And I'm saying that it is. I don't know how it is they would have the people living under these conditions, and it haven't been doing anything about it. So I'm saying once I have gotten that opportunity to serve them, I will ensure that these situations would be removed. I don't think that people deserve to be living under this type of condition, where sewer water is in running right in their drainage, and then we complain about how it is how to get it on, and they bring down the community. But they are very, very nice people inside of there, even the so-called individuals who you might call gangsters. If you take time and go and sit down and have a discussion with them, you recognize how intelligent they are. They understand everything that is taking place, and all they just need is that opportunity to do well. And that is what my goal is, to ensure that I can give them that opportunity to do well in life.
Wow. I said before, of course, I'll get my colleague here. I think he has been sitting for some time and listening, and I'm sure he's gathering information, etc. But all of what Senate has observed are in fact so. And when, of course, on this program, I remember somebody was very offended when I said that they even coined a term called skying. They do the number twos in a Gazette paper, and then they sky it. They show it, so they call it skying. So they develop a term for it, and he was saying that I was degrading or degrading the Laventille community. No, I was making the point that, and I will still do it, and I insist on doing it, that is a serious indictment on the PNM, having been, of course, in government, just celebrated their 76th birthday or anniversary, and having been in government for the longest, only interrupted in 1986 and probably three times subsequently, and even the last 9 years, they have been still in government, and that situation has not been rectified. And of course, Senate is correct when, of course, he said that today, contemporary existential Trinidad and Tobago, in Port of Spain, the country's, of course, premier city, the place where the administrative center or nerve of the country exists. It is the main administrative center and political matrix that exists for Trinidad and Tobago, and yet still, in East Port of Spain, and as you climb the hill, you have this kind of what I consider to be caveman situation, Neanderthal situation existing. It ought not to be, but we know what the intention of the solution is in terms of addressing the problem. But we also know if the PNM get a chance, all oil gone. You want to say all oil gone and transfer, of course, the problem to some other part of the country, and therefore proliferate the social and economic and cultural issues that the country could have easily, by concentrating and focusing on eliminating by way of containment. You then, of course, send it all over the country, so that when they displace, like recently, the Duncan Street residents, and they put them in all parts of the country, you don't expect that people who are unemployed or who are accustomed, of course, maybe depending on easier bread when they are connected to the social and economic fabric of Port of Spain, and you let them go to loose in any other part of the country, that they will not live off the community that you send them in. You have to be a damn fool not to understand that basic. And the PNM, they are very reckless, they are very brutal, and it is about themselves. They want, of course, East Port of Spain to gentrify it for their 1%ers who are now living in clustered circumstances west of Port of Spain. Understand that. It is clear. This is no conspiracy theory. They have been, especially Rowley, if you give him an next chance, he clear East Port of Spain, because he went up there to the community center right on this street here, George Street, the head of George Street, and told the people that he is prepared under Manning to bulldoze East Port of Spain, and we had to come up against him. And that is why, of course, these people are still here living, the original, rightful, and of course, hardworking, and people who have developed this place the way it is, albeit, of course, with some social issues that we must also address. Just as I told you, I want to tell you something about Senate, because I had an engagement with him when we were at East Port of Spain, he being both of us being directors. And I remembered very clearly that, of course, there was a proposal made and then, of course, put to us as the board about providing boxing facility. They call them pugilist facilitation in Beetham, Bath Street, etc., which in fact materialized. And when I learned subsequently, it was as a result of the initiative taken by Senate himself, and of course accepted by the executive and the board of East Port of Spain. That is why I told you that he means what he says. But he say he doing something, he doing that. I want to tell you, however, that I had a proposal too, and they were to consider it after, because his became priority. But that is all right. And eventually, of course, the rest is history, where the UNC lost the election, because it was during the UNC period between 2010 and 2015. That being as it may, of course, I know that my comrade here, a resident businessman in Port of Spain, he would have heard a lot and want, of course, to make a contribution. Go ahead, my friend.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, go outside and listening. I want to tell you, PNM borrows so much money to make, so how they borrow so much money from the bank? They have a reason why we don't have no money in the country, or what's going on? How are we borrowing so much money from banks and First Citizen and Lennox Bank? We borrow so much money, we don't have no money in the country, what's going on? All about spending money, all they doing the wrong things, what are they doing? Come on now, man. Something wrong. If the people out there ain't smelling the roses and seeing what's going on, the roses started rotten. The roses started rotten, so I had to go to different institutions to get help to manage the country. All they had to smell the roses and see what's going on. The foreign investing, the US, what's going on in the country. All the time, all the suffer the business people. When I mean suffer them down to the bone. Yeah, they come and get $200 US. Imagine you have to go outside there to do business, to bring in like clothes and to bring in little things as businessmen. You getting nothing. $200, you have to go to the black market and they're telling you can't go outside. So it's so much money, you have to have card, and you ain't getting the money. No, all it just come up just so. As election come, all kind of thing coming up in this government, you know. It's one set of promises, and they make it, as they hear Kamala say something, they're trying to see if they could counteract it. As they hear she says something, they're making something more better. Wow. What's going on? What's going on in this government? They're cracking up. Or they from 10 years to now, all ain't help out nobody. But every area all they go, all they want to keep function. When they ask all for sponsor for certain things, all they not giving sponsors. All they don't want to see nobody in front of all the office. It's only certain people all they want to see. Now, as UNC running the floor, and UNC now candidates and them showing the people and them what going on. The Kamala coming and talking the truth. Kamala don't lie. Kamala talking the truth on the platform. You was no. All kind of ideas and lying to the people and making. I ain't done yet, but let me take this
Yeah,
call.
of course, yes, yes. We give way to the callers all the time. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Well, pleasant good night again, Lennox.
Yes.
What is I would like to find out?
Uh-huh.
What is I like to find out? Now, we know we have a lot of youths. We have a lot of youths that is actually, in the Lavatel area. They're
Yes.
running, who in the sports arena and all these things.
Right.
Let me ask our representative. Do you think that these kids and they will ever get a chance to represent the country?
Do you think what?
That those individuals will ever get a chance to represent Trinidad and Tobago?
So that I think that is in your yes. He asked if you think that these youths will get a chance to represent the country.
Well, I would say under when Lennox and I were at the East Port of Spain, we had came up with that is under Annabelle Davis and Dr. Thomas. And I had made it my duty. I told them that I would go in and coach the kids. And coming out of that, some of these kids who never would have passed the lighthouse and would have always been in their community has now become ambassadors, has become Caribbean champion representing the country. So because I felt I give them that opportunity, I went and I trained them, and we have gotten national boxers coming out from these same communities that they consider to be ghettos. Okay? So that is what I would say.
The reason I'm asking that question is that I know well, I don't even know, but it is actually, well, I wouldn't say actually, but it is perceived that some of these kids and them, I use them kids, but it could be young men and young women that make it trying to get out of that and go into the sports arena don't have the opportunity because it is controlled by a certain people above, if you understand what I'm saying, and would not get the opportunity to flourish. So that's why I'm asking that, so that maybe there should be a parallel running with the Trinidad and Tobago Athletic Association. You understand what I'm saying? Because what is happening is that we have only one entity. If you make, you make. If you break, you break. You can't go further. But if you have something running parallel with them, that they could also get the opportunity to represent on a different level, but still they'd be selected on that, then we will have a better chance of these athletes and them in different discipline getting that opportunity to represent and actually getting themselves, out of poverty and whatever the case may be. So it is something I think I think about, because we always have one entity, which is Trinidad and Tobago, maybe the TTFA, if it's football or whatever it is, whatever the discipline it is. You have one entity alone that, unless you make it, guys, how are you going to get in? So what I'm trying to say, maybe we might have to have a parallel one that's running with that, so that the selectors and them could go to that. Because, it's who know who, and you should know that too. It's who know who will get that opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? Because we have great people in Laventille, we have great people throughout Trinidad and Tobago. But again, it's who know who. So that's the reason why. So at least somebody could be seeing them on a different level. All right, so this is just my opinion, and I just hope that we could try and make Trinidad a better place. All right, blessings again, Lennox. Good night.
Go ahead.
All right then.
You may want to comment further.
To be honest with you, as a former national athlete who would have represented the country on many occasions, I do not think that we understand the value of sports and culture in our country. We have had lots of young men who were very, very talented footballers, cricketers, and what has happened is that we have lost them through gangsterism. At this point in time, I honestly believe that our country don't have to go down this road. I would say under the people partnership, there were many lightings on fields. A lot of sports were taking place. Many events were taking place when coming with sports. But under this government, sports have taken a serious beating, and we have not been very that successful, because there are many young kids that could be just right in Lavantil and Barcelona Street in my constituency. I've seen young children just flipping, and I'm seeing a talent. So we need to be more, we need to come and scout for these young people and make them a little more active, get them involved in the building process. A lot of jobs has been lost in this country. Some of our young children don't have any job, and they're coming out with all the passes. I am saying that the PNM has decimated the economy. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I already know that under the coalition of interest, we will bring back a lot of these jobs that our young people can go into. Okay?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I think you got it from the horse's mouth. I don't think you want... because the big difference here is not just political will, you know. Because one can have political will, but that by itself does not make the intervention the success that it ought to be. I'm saying so because since Eric William times, we had money being spent. So to me, that in itself is the essence, or should I say, the basis for political will, because the money has been expended. The Brian Lara Stadium, for example, the most recent incarnation of that profligate, but yet still, in terms of the outcome and the impact and the intent, no manifestations. And what we have is a society, as far as, of course, those who would want, of course, to carry their profession, if you want to call it that, or their art form, or their athletic ability further. We have a phenomenon where, when the person would have done so on their own volition, because they have this will, drive, fervent desire to, of course, be the best that they can be, and maybe top the world in their particular sphere of activity chosen. What we see is that when they would have achieved, then this country then recognize them. But in terms of putting the building blocks, so as to assure a cartridge, or should I say a group of individuals can almost, with a high degree of certainty, achieve their objective. No. And the PNM in particular has been guilty of this kind of approach. I remembered very distinctly, and I saw that, of course, for example, the steel band head endorsing the PNM. Well, of course, if I was on the ground report, I would have said, I will speak in terms that is no surprise, because Andy will always say that the steel band, and of course the Calypsonians, party group number 1 and number 2, or vice versa, as the case may be. They can be used interchangeably. But the fact of the matter is that when the UNC, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and the partnership were in office between 2010 and 2015, what greater motivation could one would have had? Firstly, what they did, they caused each major contributor or player in the cultural sphere that we annually, of course, express in the form of Carnival and all of the other components that make up Carnival, whether it be Calypso, Chutney, Soca, of course, Soca, etc., Mass, and they gave them their own autonomy to make their own decision. That was a significant development. So the respect, instead of putting everything under one umbrella called the Carnival Development Company or Corporation, as the case may be, NCC, they decided, of course, to put into the hands of those who are best positioned to generate the kind of continuity and longevity that such development must take place, particularly if you want to have them make economic contribution to the society, having regard to the nature of our own economy, where oil, gas, and petrochemical are wasting assets in the first place. And even if it wasn't so, the fact is that environmental issues internationally would make it, of course, very difficult for that to continue on a sustained basis to provide the necessary resources, financial and otherwise, to Trinidad and Tobago. The second thing, of course, that the UNC did was to provide an enormous, so enormous that, comparatively speaking, that there were more competition taking place and more creativity. I'm talking about the annual prizes that were given to Calypsonians, to Soca artists, to steel band, etc., etc. I think it's above $1 million. It has been reversed in this dispensation of Rowley, and because they don't see, why they will talk culture as being part of the diversification of the economy. They have never demonstrated any seriousness in that regard. Just as how, of course, they make trivial the Cuba Hospital. Just as how they have made trivial the Aquatic Center. Just as how they have made trivial the velodrome, the cycling velodrome, because all of that was part and parcel of a deliberate plan to, of course, boost the economy outside of the oil, gas, and petrochemical sectors, and therefore, of course, generate a foreign exchange by taking advantage of the fact that in those countries in the northern hemisphere that has a lot of resources, but they also have weather that they would not like, so therefore in winter they can come down here, and if you are a cyclist, so you can, of course, enjoy the sunlight and, of course, high quality facility, just as, of course, in the case of swimming, and of course you have, of course, medical tourism as well, which is being enjoyed by Barbados right now as we speak. That is the kind of thinking. Where is that synergy? Where is that a system of or systematic approach in order to, of course, generate the income that is required to sustain Trinidad and Tobago? They have produced none, except, of course, the weight of dragon gas, with a country that the major democracies of the world have a difficulty with, and the head of that country is a fugitive from American justice. Churchill had to be an ass. Sorry to say that, but I mean, it is clear. He has to be a backside and a half. To come, firstly, before he went, he said that, of course, he's going to talk to them. When he come back, he said he talked to them in Jamaica. The Americans are talking about a Trump representative, Marco Rubio. And when he came back, he told us that, listen, they listened to him. And they will do according to him, and I'm quoting here, I'm not paraphrasing, I'm quoting verbatim. He said that the Americans said they will do nothing to harm Trinidad and Tobago. And then about 2 or 3 days after, they say that they pull back, of course, the OFAC license that they gave. That, mind you, only had about 3 or 4 months before it expired, somewhere in September. But they did it immediately after his sound. If you had to sign maybe some kind of document to say that it was a good job that he, Churchong, went, and therefore they said they wouldn't have Trinidad, and he had to sign it, then the ink would not have dried from that document, would not have had time to dry before the Americans say that they pull back the entire damn thing. And he's so bold-faced. He's telling us still that there is a there is a transition period, and those are my words, transition period, and that he will now be utilizing that in order to talk to the Americans. And today we have a situation, clearly election is in the air, because today he suddenly have a correspondence or some kind of communication from the Americans that they're willing to talk to him. But willing to talk doesn't mean that you're going to get through, because you have to be a backside to not understand that Trump and they are concerned about the democracy in Venezuela, and worse yet, Trump is a fugitive of American justice. How the hell? And then, of course, whatever arrangement you make with the Venezuelans for 30 years to, of course, exploit the gas and or petrochemical deposits on their side of the border, you had to put out money up front, and the Americans are not on that. They don't want it to appear to be, or anybody to be funding that level of what I consider to be dictatorship and oppression of their people, especially in the Western Hemisphere. So you telling me that that's so hard for a fella like Stuart Young to understand? But no, they believe that they could hoodwink and deceive the people, gaslight us in perpetuity, and that of course we will take it and swallow it, and somehow the sycophants and them will of course go out there and become trolls and then say, give them a chance now, hold the tail. And the most, of course, bizarre, and the most, of course, what I consider to be incongruent, irrational statement that one can make is when the same man, when he was asked the question as to what have you been doing over the last 9 years, he said that he was trying to secure, and they were in a learning scenario, in a learning process. Who hired you to learn on the job? When you told us that, listen, PNM has been there for the longest, and that therefore they have all the experience, all of that, in fact, we were told that is utopia because they could do more with less. That was the asinine statement made by Rowley to us. And everything they touch turned to disaster. And all the major promises turned out to be, of course, a figment that clearly had no basis, clearly in reality, because it was a figment. Because whether it be property tax, whether it be, of course, the whole question of subsidies, and we can go on and on, they have failed and they have destroyed. So therefore, no opportunity for them. I want, of course, to just, by way of conclusion, because it's after 10 o'clock already, so that you really steady course, boy. I thought you could make. All right, so people, of course, we are winding down. No more calls. Because we are about to close. Go ahead.
I'll just say something about 3 things before we close, Mr. Senate said just now the people in Nelson Street and Duncan Street, they're living in a real poor, how they put it, boy, they really get energy, and whoever back in energy in the government, they do this kind of radical treatment to human being. All they come together and know what they're doing now. All they come together and know all they're doing now. Because at the end of the day, all they treating human being in this way, that is smell sewer. The children had to come out and cross over sewer. Water. Come on now, man. All they making the planets and them go down, go down, go down, go down. All they making no kind of great investment to maintain the buildings, people windows, color the building. It just going down. I don't know why all they doing this, you know. But I would say I don't want to point finger. I don't know if it's either investment or they're looking to make to come to for other people to come in to control this place, but it just left to be seen with this one. The next thing now, as I said before, it's only now this government for 10 years, it's only now all trying to show the public all they can do this, all they can keep function, all they could promise to get this one jobs. Every day is some kind of thing going on. Watching the beat them down there. We went down on the and Silat. See me the beat them. Watching Silat. Silat, the beat them. It have a sewer problem. It have a problem there for years going on the beat them. We're not solving this water, just smelling stink. And the government not solving it. Watch down in Silat. This thing start and the government never finish it. This bridge, people will be coming across it as Siatex thing to come across. Viewers, and it has once an employment youth down there. People well educated, who have education, who want to do better for themselves. In every area have their own thing.
Let me just
Right?
thank Mr. Senator. He has an engagement. Well, people, of course, we will have more of these interactions. Even after, of course, the 28th, but of course, so Senate and his team, anybody is invited because they say our concern are their concerns as well, and therefore we must live in a kind of, not in a kind of, but in a synergy, in a cooperation, where of course where talent exists one place, we help each other in order. In fact, we are helping with all of the campaigns from Port au Prince South right to of course Laventille East movement, talking about love, and of course my deputy, well, my vice president or vice political leader or deputy political leader, Dada, he of course is assigned to Senate's camp, for example, and of course he has been doing some work with them, and there are other areas that we have discovered that we can assist in as well. So just give us a parting word, and then of course you can make your departure, my friend, as we close.
I want to thank each and everyone who have taken this opportunity to sit down and listen, and even those who would have called in passionately to actually say something in connection of what they think is wrong, right. And I also want to thank Mr. Smith of the Love Team, the leader of the Love Team, for giving me this opportunity to come here and say something on behalf of my constituency that I'm going up for. But this constituency, I would like to make it a constituency that every other constituency would want to achieve and would want to, because I think we are a critical constituency that needs certain amount of development, because we are actually in the Port of Spain area too as well. So I want to thank each and every one of you again, and hope you all continue to have a great night. And please don't forget to vote for this coalition. The coalition is the only way out. Okay? Have a blessed one.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much, of course. Well, but of course, he's making as the party, so you can leave. Yes, indeed. So people, of course, out goes the Senate, and in comes, of course, the deputy political leader. He had to give way, of course, to our guests. We don't have the facilitation as we would like. We have to get, of course, the headphones, and we still have to get the mics, etc. But we will get there, and we'll have a live audience. In fact, I want to tell you that whilst we were talking here, about 2 or 3 persons came in through the door, and they listened to hear what we have to say. And I think that is a wonderful development as we practice, of course, the true what I consider the essence of democracy, because government by the people, of the people, and for the people. The common denominator being people, and therefore it must be people-centered, as Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the UNC, and of course the coalition of interests have always been saying, and that has been a fundamental motto. That being as may, let's hear the closing up statements of our friend here. It appears that of course the deputy political leader, he has had enough, so he has decided that it would have enough time for him to talk, because he may want to start over the program, and I will have none of it.
Well, I had to say for the closing up, people, we laying all the cards on the board here right now for all, you know what I mean? All are seeing it, all are hearing it. We making research on the ground. We going out there, meeting the people and them, you know. I been campaigning out there with all them ministers and all them people and them out there. I been out there because I representing love, I representing UNC coalition. I out there, so I out there beating the ground. People, you see no going on. All they don't take promises. They ain't do that in 10 years. They want to push it down in all the truth now. Them is promises. All them promises going to get break. All you don't be stupid out there. You understand me? Vote for Kamala. Vote for the coalition parties. Let me prove something. You hear Mr. Senate say? He come out to play his heart and soul. Here, the deputy leader, I love. He have a big book, so. When he started bring it out, so this country will be well governed. Hearing Kamala talking. Miss Kamala talking the truth. Miss Kamala in line, she telling all the natural facts. Come on, people, don't get twisted. We asking all to join this party, join the coalition. Let me take back this country. You understand me? I don't want to say nothing too much because there are plenty of other programs I'll be on, and that's the love I trying to let all you know. Youths out there, be strong, come out and vote. Don't get cried away. Don't get cried away, come out and vote.
Yes, indeed. Well, I think that is a good, should I say, area to end this program, that youths come out and vote. Come on, but somebody just walked through the door. All right, come, Shuna. Well, Senate has not yet left. He has some idea that he wants to share with us. Yes, indeed. Well, welcome back, my friend. We were about to close, but go ahead.
No, what I want to tell the candidate for Port of Spain South is that you will not, when you go in the voting booth, you will not see a UNC sign. You will see COP. COP, which is part of the coalition, is what you're going to see. Once a vote for COP is a vote for the coalition. So please continue. I'm happy that I could say this here to you all now, and please pay close attention to it. Okay?
Very significant. Very significant. Once again, of course, let me just reiterate that if you are voting in the Port of Spain South constituency, you will see on the ballot paper the concentric circle representing COP. You will not see the rising sun. You will not see love either the rocket. What you will see is the concentric circle, and that is where you put your X. All right? In Port of Spain South, and of course the other constituency I believe is St. Anne's. I know we have people all over the country listening, so St. Anne's East as well, a similar situation where you see the concentric circle. It says it's a vote for the UNC. It is a vote for love, is a vote for the trade unions, that are part and parcel of, as a vote for PEP as well. So, of course, in the Diego Martins and, of course, Port of Spain, North, St. Anne's West, you will see the PEP sign, not a concentric circle, or the rocket, or the rising sun. You will see, of course, the PEP sign. Well, there you know that a vote for PEP is a vote for the UNC, is a vote for love, is a vote for all of the other coalition of interest parties and or entities that have come to form this great salvation for Trinidad and Tobago. Don't forget, 10% they're starting at. This fella can't contemplate. He's in a state of discombobulation, confusion, because he can't believe that 10% could be offered. Yes, 10%, because it was that same government under Kamala Prasad Bisesa that attempted, and in fact, in different stages of completion, the vast minority of them, 106 schools. Up to now, Rowley is a phenomenon for Rowley. He's still asking people to go and find the schools, even though they were found, but in bushes, that he left. So the competence level and the capacity to deliver is great. Of course, as my friend here said, the amount of programs we have for East Port of Spain, Lavatil and so on, 1,000 pages. I'll show it to you already, I'll show it to you again. I'm sure I'll have the opportunity before the election day. I'm compiling, of course, a final document, and I'm going to show it to you. And we have modules within for every single social or human-related situation that is the reality of Trinidad and Tobago, that this government, the PNM, found intractable. Intractable, they can't find solutions, in other words. A pleasant good night. And of course, we will be back on tomorrow. Tomorrow being, of course, Sunday, but we'll be on because our commitment is indivisible. So, of course, without further ado, have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless, and a holy one at that, and everybody be safe. I have an incident-free one. It's incident-free one, yes, indeed.
Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we have from the Trinidad location? 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela. SOS, SOS, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Help! Help! The Trinidad, a luxury liner, sailing the Caribbean Sea. An old captain named Eric Williams. Oh yes, it's smooth and free. But sadly Eric Williams passed away. The ship hit rough water that day. Someone turned the bridge over to a captain named Chambers. Me blood crawl, things start to fall. Hold me head when I sail a ball. Captain, this ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low.